Only a few Londoners get free coffee, so most still pay.
Londoners hear the same refrain on the news. The cost of living is climbing faster than wages. The Prime Minister has said the recent VAT cut on electricity and the end of subscription traps still leave household budgets strained. Everyday items that once seemed cheap now bite into tight budgets. In that climate, a simple sign offering a free coffee or a book feels more than a kindness. The sign invites anyone facing a hard day to take a hot and hand it to the counter, no explanation needed. Such pay-it-forward pots promise to offset the burden of those small, recurring expenses. Across the city, cafes and community shops are setting up these visible jars and cards as a quiet response to the pressure on wallets.
The sign reads, "If you need a little something, but circumstances are challenging for whatever reason, take a hot and hand it to us at the counter, no explanation needed." Lala Books runs a scheme that relies on donations from local patrons to keep the pot full. At Host Cafe, tucked inside St. Mary Aldermary Church, manager Barbara Gonacher explains there are no set rules. Anyone who feels they need the cost of a drink covered can take one. The cafe displays a small jar where customers drop cash, and the next person can claim a suspended coffee without speaking to staff. In Swindon, sandwich bar owners Dave Pope and Steve Richards have adapted the idea for homeless people, handing special cards to the night shelter in Cheney Manor. Those cards let a person pick a coffee or snack from labels hanging on pegs behind the counter. The model first appeared in Naples, Italy, where patrons paid for an extra drink that later customers could claim. A 2011 Guardian article introduced the concept to a United Kingdom audience, and cafes such as the Coffee Tree and the Coffee Collective soon offered suspended coffees with no eligibility checks. Charities including The Big Issue and the Trussell Trust later used similar cash pots to fund small purchases for people in hardship. During 2023-24, a number of London cafes formalized the approach as a publicly visible, suspended coffee scheme, sparking the current conversation about usage and comfort. Imagine a commuter stepping into a busy cafe, feeling the weight of a tight budget. They glance at the heart-shaped token on the counter and decide to take it, knowing the cost of a latte will be covered. That few pounds saved means they can still afford a bus ticket or a modest lunch later. A student browsing the shelves at Lala Books can pick up a novel without paying, keeping a small allowance for rent. The act feels private, yet public. No one asks why, and the gesture carries no stigma. For many, the scheme turns a moment of financial strain into a brief pause of relief. It also reinforces the idea that neighbors are looking out for each other, even in a sprawling metropolis. The simple exchange of a token or a card becomes a quiet reminder that community support still exists.
In a city of 1 million residents, even a modest daily saving can add up for those on the edge. Low-income households and people experiencing homelessness stand to gain the most from free coffees, snacks, and books. At the same time, cafes rely on the generosity of regular customers to keep the pots replenished, so donor fatigue could threaten the supply. Charities that have adopted similar cash pots may see their limited budgets stretched thinner if community contributions wane. Businesses that lose a few sales per day might view the scheme as a cost, yet they also benefit from goodwill and repeat footfall. The balance between donor contributions and claimant demand determines whether the pot remains sustainable. If the pots run dry, the most vulnerable lose a rare source of micro-relief, while donors may feel their goodwill exploited. The surge of pay-it-forward schemes coincides with a widening gap between wages and living costs, pushing people toward informal safety nets. Traditional welfare measures have been described as insufficient, prompting citizens to create their own micro-charities. The fact that cafes are now formalizing the practice signals a shift from ad hoc generosity to an accepted community service. By borrowing a model that originated in Naples and was popularized in the United Kingdom by a 2011 newspaper feature, London is adapting a cultural practice to meet modern economic stress. The involvement of charities shows the idea is moving from casual goodwill into structured assistance. The visible jars and cards also reshape social norms, making it acceptable to ask for a small free item without shame. This normalization may encourage broader participation, reinforcing a cycle of giving that cushions everyday expenses. Ultimately, the rise of these schemes reveals how rising costs are reshaping not just budgets, but the very fabric of communal support.
The suspended coffee concept began in Naples, where patrons would pay for an extra drink that a later customer could claim, a practice noted in Italian media in the early 2000s. A 2011 Guardian piece introduced the idea to British readers, and it quickly spread to independent cafes across London. Early adopters such as the Coffee Tree and the Coffee Collective offered the service without any eligibility checks, relying on trust. Charities later saw the potential and created similar cash pots to fund modest purchases for people facing hardship. That is the story. If this made it clearer, subscribe and turn on notifications